Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very latest CADS episode. We're coming to you after a cup win, a league draw, and 2 goals from none other than João Palhinha. How does that work out? This is a guy who was brought in to be defensively solid, and this week we've seen him score an overhead kick and a long-range punt to win us a point in the end of the game. Wow, crazy. I am joined, as always, by some lovely gentlemen. We've got A with us. How you doing, A?
Hey, I'm good, and yourself?
I'm very, very good. And we've got 2 people from the banks of the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco. We're going to start with Austin. How you doing, Austin?
I'm good, thank you. I found this picture and I thought I had to upload it to make Ashley feel comfortable.
Make it feel somewhat at home. And, of course, we've got Ash with us as well. How you doing, Ash?
I'm pretty good. The way it's set up on the 4 screen here, Austin and I are in the one frame. It's fantastic. I don't know if I know it's great. I'm doing good.
Okay, so before we get into
Palhinha is my new favorite Spurs player.
It's your new favorite Spurs player. Okay. Before we get into the football, is there anything anybody wants to talk about to just delay the inevitable? Because we're going to have to talk about it. We're going to have to talk about what we watched yesterday.
Well, we're playing Bodo on Tuesday, and I think we're undefeated in like 21, 22 European games at home. Not so good in home games in the league.
Yeah, not quite so good. But I mean, there is one other good thing that is linked to Bodo. Every time we've played Bodo in a season, we have gone on to win a major European trophy.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's only happened once, but it's 100%. 100%.
We'll take it.
All right, so we are going to talk about the the League Cup match, but we're going to rip the Band-Aid off and talk about the Wolves game, however much we may not want to. I'll be honest, I thought we were the better side in the first half, but when we came out in the second half, it was like a switch had been turned off and we just did not seem to show the same level of desire or initiative. Something just seemed off. And frankly, I thought we were lucky to get a point at the end of that because they were the side that was pushing more. And the stats basically follow that up. Am I wrong?
Nope.
Hey, go on.
Thanks. Yeah, we were the much better side in the first half. I thought we were unlucky not to go in ahead, and much like you, I thought we were then very lucky to get a point at the end of it. The telling thing for me was that they came out at the second half and changed their shape. They went from a 4 to 3 centre backs. At the same time, we switched our most effective player, that was Kudus, down the right to the left, where he wasn't any much like the same. I thought we really struggled down the flanks, bar Kudus in the first half and 1 or 2 Udogie runs. But yeah, they nullified us down the flanks where most of our threats come from, and that left us unimaginative, and their change of shape really worked. They put us under pressure in the midfield. Second half was atrocious. It looked like we didn't have options. We didn't give the man with the ball many options when it came to finding space and moving into threatening places, and we were very slow in possession. Yeah, there's very few positives that you can take from it, except that we would have probably lost that game in the past, and we got a goal. I'm going to say that I've been watching a bit of football this weekend, and we look miles off it when we compared to the top teams. And you know, just looking at the way Newcastle played today and Arsenal played today, and the way Palace played against Liverpool, we've got a lot of catching up to do. Common thread is those are all settled styles and managers, and we're still new into this. So I think we're going to have our bumps in the road, but we've got to stay fast.
Yeah, this is one of the things about bringing in a new manager is it's going to take a little bit of time for things to settle down. And I'm not I'm very, very unhappy. I just have my concerns about the way the game went in a way. Ash, what did you think?
Well, first of all, United, Liverpool, and Chelsea all lost. So that's not quite true what you were saying. But all the other things were very true. Yeah, I don't know. Except that I think that we are missing certain players. It is early in Frank's reign. I wasn't expecting even this sort of success at first. So I'm tempering my feelings, but it'd be great if we were much better. It really would. But I think we're just missing Dominic Solanke. We don't have any strikers to back up Richie. You know, we don't have, apart from Xavi, who may be too lightweight for the Premier League. We don't have any other creator in the middle apart from him. So we're missing a few things. But I'm going to think that Frank is. I'm hoping he gets it right over the course of the season.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping that. Austin, what were your thoughts from the game?
I was frustrated, obviously. First half, I thought we were good. We had a couple of really good moves. We scored an offside goal. We hit the bar, but I think that would have been given offside had he actually scored. I thought Kudus was very good on the right-hand side. Second half, he wasn't any good at all. And I understood why they switched him. I thought he would attack them from a different point because we didn't score in the first half. And I thought if we attack them down the left-hand side, then we might just get something out of it. I thought Palhinha, Ash said he was his new favourite player. I thought in the second half he was largely poor. He kept getting caught out of possession, being further forward, missing tackles. And yes, he scored a fantastic goal, but his job is to protect the defence, and I don't think he did. I thought we missed too many.
He had the most tackles and duels won.
Did he? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it, but he missed a lot.
He was also sadly somewhat complicit in the goal that we actually conceded because it did come off his shins before Bueno knocked it over Vicario into the goal.
Well, I thought Vicario should have caught that. I also thought that Berival was disappointing. He missed a lot of his passes, and so was Jed Spence. He misplaced passes left, right, and centre. And that is what was happening last season when we were conceding goals. We were giving the ball back to opposition and letting them come at us instead of passing to our players so that we could attack opposition. So
yeah,
that's my brief analysis of yesterday.
Yeah, there was a definite feeling that we kind of seen that second half performance before. The Bournemouth game, it was very much like that. We just didn't seem to get hold of the ball and do anything with it. And when we did, they got hold of it very quickly, and we just didn't seem to be able to get it back off them that quickly. First half, we were very much the better side. We had the ball,
completely.
We were doing some decent things with it. We looked somewhat composed. Players were linking together fairly nicely. There was a few nice long balls from João Palhinha, which unexpected, but we'll take it. And of course, you know, our defence looked solid as always. But then second half comes along and it's like different team came out and I just didn't really understand it. Maybe it was the tactical switch from Wolves, but my big concern is we just seem too easy to figure out because our game plan seemed to be get the ball, play it down the wings and cross the ball in. Now, Richarlison is a lot of things, but he's not particularly great in the air. And certainly when he's being fed very, very poor crosses, it doesn't help him at all. So I didn't think it was a particularly inspired game plan.
I thought our crossing was poor in general.
It's an interesting point you made there, Stu, because against Bournemouth, I thought their manager out-tactic our manager, and perhaps in the second half, this it also happened yesterday, which questions Frank's tactics or the fact that he just doesn't have the players to actually implement his tactics right now.
So is that going to be improved with players coming back from injury? I don't know. Hey, what do you think?
Let's hope so. Jeez.
Yeah, I was on the same track. I think we are out of options in terms of the creativity. We've got a lot of ball carriers. We've got a destroyer, and that's about it. And we tend to try and um, get our goals by force almost. Bar that one nice move with Bergvall and Kudus that was offside. Almost everything else is we force the ball in with continuous pressure. I think our balance is not quite right with Xavi out on the left. But I don't see much alternative because I don't think he's up to speed yet. It's obviously, excuse me, a lot of talent there, but I think the Premier League's a different beast, and it's going to take him some time. I did mention I watched a few other games, and one of the things that I did notice is like how well players that are particularly suited to the Premier League or with Premier League experience, tend to adapt a lot quicker. And I think we need to be patient with him. He had a very poor game, whether it was left or when he did come into the middle. But I think that's to be expected. So I'm saying at the moment our hands are a little bit tied in terms of what we have in terms of personnel.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think it's interesting that Wilson-Odobert seems to be getting a reasonable amount of minutes at the moment. I think he is potentially a long-term option for that left wing position, and then bringing Xavi in. I would much rather be much happier seeing Xavi playing in the centre in that proper number 10 position instead of asking someone like Bergvall to try and fill that role. It's a different role for him. I like him running forward from the 8, not so much the 10.
I'd like to see Xavi come on off the bench when physicality's dropped a little bit, when we've used these power players to run the opposition to a point where you'll have a little more time and space. And I think that's what you saw in the Brighton game, a little bit more time and space because the game had already been stretched and been up and down. Yeah, that's where I think he'll be a little bit more effective. I like Odobert. I think he needs to back himself a bit more. Almost like he takes a half step almost to decide because it's not flowing for him naturally. I thought Tau was bright when he came on. He was direct and he put the cross in for Sarr to drop it to Palhinha. I think we really missed Sarr's energy. And we extended ourselves in the first half and we won the midfield by running really hard at them. And I think in the second half, Bergvall and Bentancur tired a bit, and then we lost that edge. And probably that was the time to bring Sarr on to keep up that intensity, and it might have been better for us. But I think it's quite obvious when he's not there that we are not quite the same.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I think we've got a lot of competition in midfield, but I still don't think we've found the right balance yet. It may take a little bit more chopping and changing before we actually see that balance come to fruition, because we've got Sarr, who I think is a very, very good player. We've got Bergvall, equally good, perhaps even better, but is still developing. We've got the promise of young Archie Gray. And then you've got the slightly older players. You've got your Bentancurs, you've got Palhinha, maybe Kulusevski when he comes back will be playing in central position as well. So there's so many options, and we just need to try and get that chemistry right. And I think that was one of the things that was missing from this game, because Xavi was trying passes that no one was following or being able to read. Because there was one where he tried like a nifty little back heel, and everybody just stopped and watched it go. And I don't mean like Diogo Dalot watching it go, where he was completely unprepared. Xavi was just a step further ahead in his thinking than anybody else, and the rest of the team wasn't. But hopefully it will get sorted out. I mean, Wolves yesterday were a physical side. They were a big side. And I thought they were a challenge for us. And despite the fact they hadn't won a game and still haven't won a game in the Premier League, they're probably not going to be going down this year. I don't think it'll be easy for them, but I don't think they're going down. What you got for me, eh?
Just the other stat we were saying before, which was kind of shocking. We've actually only won 3 of the last 17 games, Premier League games at our stadium. 3 of 17. That's just shocking. Absolutely shocking. Something's
Yeah.
not working.
I don't
would
think you
say
can say
that
that, Ash, because up until the end of last season, Andrew was in charge, and we lost most of those games under him. I think we've only lost 2 games or one game under Thomas.
Yeah, 1 at home, Bournemouth.
Yeah, and so
should have been 2.
I think that stat isn't a fair stat, bearing in mind the new management and the new team.
I think what was surprising for me, and a lot has been made about how adaptable and horses for courses Frank is, that we didn't change much when they changed formation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think like that stands out for me. Maybe we didn't have the personnel to, but I think we did have the personnel to match them at worst case when things weren't going right. Yeah, but it didn't. We didn't do anything. We left the initiative with Wolves. Yeah, I thought Wolves were a very good side. They were disciplined. They were very physical, but they also passed it around us very easily at times. And they've got some good players, and I'm agreeing with Stuart. I find myself agreeing with Stuart. I don't think they'll go down. I think they'll pick up. I think Wolves and Villa will come on strong soon.
Villa did. They won 3-1 today. Did you
Yeah.
mean
Yeah,
Villa?
they got their first win of the season. Yeah.
Did you mean somebody else? Or
No,
do you
Villa have been very poor this season, but they
Yeah.
managed to turn it around and get things back on form today.
No, I meant Villa. Villa have a bit of the old potch about them, where there were a few seasons in a row where we started very slowly, and then once we got going, well, we got kicked those cobwebs off, and we finished very strong and finished in the high parts of the table. And I can see that happening with them. And in those years, we didn't strengthen much either. So they still have some very good players, and I think it's gonna be a dogfight for that top 8.
Absolutely.
Let's hope they don't kick into gear too quickly, because that's not our next game, not the one after that, but the one after that. So 3 games time. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Okay, let's take a little further back and look at the result for Doncaster. Definitely a more enjoyable game in some ways, but I thought there were times we struggled in that match as well.
Definitely. I thought Doncaster were a decent footballing team.
Yes,
They
were.
passed it, they beat our press a few times. Kinsky was excellent. I think we might have to come on to that, but he made a couple of blinding saves. His distribution was excellent, and he was very decisive on the crosses. He did pull us out of trouble at times where it could have been a much more difficult game. But I think what we saw was basically the difference in class of players from Premier League to League One that told. Basically it was a mismatch, and we've got a very difficult tie now away at Newcastle, and they look to be a good side. Watching them today, it's going to be a handful. Difficult game.
I'm okay with facing Newcastle early in the competition, because if we're going to win it, and I think we should be going out to win it, I think we do need to beat sides like Newcastle. And if we're going to go out, then okay, going out early actually lightens the load a bit further down the road in the calendar. So I'm okay with it either way. Genuinely am.
We beat United and City last year before we came up against Liverpool. So we played some tough matches. That one question which maybe you wanted to bring up again about Kinsky. Are you suggesting that maybe he may be given a shot at playing one of the Champions League games?
I don't know. I think they still depend on Vicario as one of the leaders. We've got a young team, but I can see him. He didn't do his case any harm, and I feel very strong competition is good for Vicario. It's going to push him, and it's also nice to see development in the young man. We had some issues with his shot stopping last year, and he seems to have done some work on that. You can see his positioning is slightly better, and he's making his decisions earlier, and maybe that's giving him that split second longer to make those saves. He also seems to have bulked up. It's like him and Berival have been in the gym
They
with
have,
Dickie.
yeah. They're like
Yeah, the
Vikings.
guys are they're really bulked up, really strong. So I was very impressed with him, and I think his distribution is so far superior. He's passing out from the back. When you're playing out from the back in these high pressure games and the press is on, that initial pass, the positioning of that pass to feet or in front of the man accurately and with good pace is critical, because you've got to move that ball quickly to beat the press. And I think Vic has made some improvements, but sometimes his passes almost like a half a meter behind the player, who then has to check, and that allows the press to come back onto somebody, and then we're playing under pressure. So I think it's those little margins,
I
that could
think
make a
Kinsky's
difference
got a
to our
much
play.
higher bar than Vic. I think Kinsky is going to be a far better keeper than Vicario. I like Vic, but I think Kinsky's got a huge amount of potential.
So Oz, can you see him? Would Frank do something like that, like try him out? Because what, he's going to play just the cup games, or you can see him play the Champions League or even a Premier League game?
Based on what I've seen, I would play him in more important games. I wouldn't think twice about it, because I think he's got that potential, and I think the confidence he would get by being played in those games,
Yes, I agree,
would be excellent. I like Vicario. I'm not slagging Vicario off at all, but I think Kinsky's got a higher bar, and he's still only 22.
Yeah, 22, just turned. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be an immense keeper. I think he's going to be one of the really good keepers. Whether he'll become great or not, I don't know, because you can't tell how people develop. But he reminds me of a young Pat Jennings, and I'm one of the people that can remember a very young Pat Jennings.
A young Pat Jennings. Okay, yeah, that puts you in a fairly rarefied club.
Well, I think he signed for us in '63 from Watford after featuring in the Young World Cup, where he was absolutely brilliant.
wow.
And he took over from Bill Brown, and almost straight away he was fantastic. He had huge hands, and he just had a commanding presence. And Kinsky looks to have an aura. I won't say he's got it yet, but he's got an aura about him. I think he's got a self-belief that is excellent.
What I would say, Oz, is that you can see that the back line is a lot more at ease with him at the ball at his feet.
Absolutely.
It's very obvious to me that they have a lot more confidence with him passing it out.
Totally agree, eh?
Good point.
My thing is, I'm looking at the fixtures now. I can't see him getting a game until the 4th of November when we play Copenhagen at home. It's very difficult to find somewhere to fit him in. Is he going to play against Leeds? Well, it's just looking at the
think you need to fit him in. I think he will fit in. I think he's good enough to fit in. I don't see much difference between him and Vicario, and I think the confidence he'd get from being picked,
I agree.
unless of course he had a nightmare, in which case it could destroy him.
That's the thing. Young keepers, you've got to be very careful about picking and choosing the games that you play them in.
Well,
So,
look at what's his face. Went to Manchester City, Trafford.
Yeah. And now they've replaced him with probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world. If we very quickly just return to the Doncaster game, what do you think of Damola Ajayi, who played against us?
Well, it's
I
tough.
thought he did all right.
Really
I thought he played quite. I thought he had some nice touches. He did some nice things. He didn't look particularly out of place on the field with some Premier League players.
I think it was tough for him coming up against experienced Premier League players, and he's the newest member of the Jets Spence Penitentiary. I don't know if you guys have seen that exchange on IG,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. He's a promising player, and I'm keen to see how he develops. He does look like a very intelligent player. If you watch his movement and his weight of pass and his imagination when he's passing, he does look to have something, and it'll be interesting to see how he develops. But I think definitely a future Premier League player, but I don't know how high he could go. But yeah, not out of place. It must have been awesome for him to play his hometown team in the stadium, you know, and yeah, what a wonderful moment for him. And yeah,
Well, he scored a goal in
promising.
that he scored a goal in that stadium in the Europa League last year. By the way,
Yeah.
didn't Palhinha get the overhead? Can we talk about him? Palhinha got the overhead kick in the Doncaster game. Was that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's got 3 goals now. And I believe he's tied with Ritchie and Johnson and the
own goals.
And Owen goal. Yeah.
You know, so all four of them have 3 goals.
And
Palhinha,
his record, Ash, in the UK is his maximum goals is 4 for Fulham in one season. So
I'll put this to you, Oz. I'll put this to you. That goal that we conceded was a Palhinha own goal. So there's 1 for own goal and 1 for Palhinha. They're our top scorers.
And then Vicario for that. He should have caught the bloody ball.
Well,
yeah.
Bueno definitely got a touch on the ball. I mean, it was an unfortunate bounce off his shins. You know, Vicario palmed it off onto his shins. Unfortunate bounce, and Bueno got touched just lifting it over Vicario. I really don't think we can blame Palhinha too much. I've seen a lot of people saying that Vicario should have caught it, but it seems to be the modern thing that when in that kind of position, the goalkeepers parry it out wide. It's just unfortunate that it hit Palhinha.
by the way,
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It looked like he tried to push it out wide away from danger, but yeah, there were people in the way. I saw an interview with him with the Spurs channel with Palhinha after the game, and you should watch it. He's not totally fluent in English, but he's pretty good because he's been playing here for a bit. He was excellent, being honest in his appraisal, saying we can do better. We should be winning these games at home. You know, it feels like a loss. And I'm going, this guy, you know, he speaks the truth to power. And that's why I say I kind of like him. I hope he stays injury free. 3 goals and has shown that he can do the defensive work.
He did not celebrate like someone who thought that we were probably going to lose the match. Shirt off in the crowd, 94th minute equaliser.
Can I just say something? If that had been Harry Kane that scored, he'd have been in the back of the net picking the ball up to go back to the halfway line to get the match started again with a view to winning the game.
Well, Johnson did do that, by the way. He did do that, and then was on his back to get to it type thing, you know. So one of our players.
How lackluster were we after that? We still had a few minutes, and man, we looked like we just couldn't get the ball forward. Dwelling on it, taking forever, passing it and throw-ins, and we just kind of played into their hands with the stop-start nature of things, you know. And you thought at 1-1 we'd be throwing everything at them with a few minutes to go, and we didn't, and I think that was a disappointing aspect for me.
Hey, you mentioned an interesting point, because I was thinking about this, speaking to a friend about this. You actually used the word force, and if you think about how we are scoring our goals, restarts, set pieces. I don't think we scored a goal off a throw in, but we are forcing the ball into their area. Our corners are going right into the 6-yard box, forcing it, and also our crosses that have scored that have made the own goals happen, or us forcing the ball into that 6-yard box. So there is a degree of aggression that we are using, as opposed to maybe we just don't have the player to play a more beautiful game with those through balls or whatever. But it was an interesting point you brought up about forcing us using force to create goals.
Yeah, thanks, Ash. I think that the key would be going forward is to supplement that aspect with an aspect of creativity and ability to pass through teams. I think when we're a complete team, we do both of those things equally as well. So we have more strings to our bow. But as we said earlier, what's it, 6 games in, 8 games in with the Cups, it's still early days, comparing ourselves to teams who had managers there forever. And you can see the difference, and we've just got to be a bit patient, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you look at the teams above us. We've got Liverpool, Arsenal, Crystal Palace above us. Slots in his 2nd season. How long has Arteta been at Arsenal now? This is his 6th season. Crystal Palace, Glasner's got his feet well underneath the table, got his club set up the way the squad, the players set up the way he wants them, and everybody knows what is expected of them. So to be 4th at this stage, when Thomas Frank generally makes a slow start to his time at a new club, I really don't think it's too bad. I do see a lot of people comparing our statistics and things to our start last season, our first 6 Premier League games last season, where we actually conceded fewer goals, and we also had our XP goals against was lower. Our XG, so expected goals, was actually higher than we've scored this season. We picked up 10 points, not 11 last season. We've now got 11 this year. I get what people are saying. They want to look back and talk about how great things were. You know, I don't think things were particularly great at the start of last season, but how things were better under Ange. Again, I say this is a side that is learning and a side that is being adapted to by their new manager, and things will improve as they go. What do you reckon, eh?
Yeah, Mike, you're right. That's correct. I think also we must look at the team that we started with last year before the injuries. We had Madison, Deki, Solanke. Now, if you add those 3 options, whether they start or not, to this team, you're adding a whole lot of creativity and potential goals to that team. Just Solanke and Madison bring in a hell of a lot more goals to the team. So, you know, if you had our set pieces and our forceful play that we had this year tied in with that bit of creativity that we had last year, we may have actually been further along.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I agree with you. It's time. It's not going to happen overnight. We went in for this rebuild. We've got to stay the course a bit longer. I think it's all that talk's a bit premature for me. Let's see how it goes.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on. We've got a game on Tuesday night. We're playing Bodo Glimt again, and hopefully we'll end up with a similar kind of result as we had last season. Are we expecting to see a lot of rotation in this one, or is it going to be putting out a strong side and hoping that we can get up another 3 points for the league phase of this Champions League?
He's been doing about 4 or 5 players consistently, rotating
7
out.
changes for the last game. 7, quite a lot.
So yeah, so he's been consistently doing that. He has been playing Bentancur and Palhinha quite a bit, and I wonder about that. He knows better, what their health is. Well, especially Palhinha, who's had injury issues like he did at Bayern. But yeah, Kinsky for sure. Kinsky's coming in. I hope. I'd like to see him come in. Maybe he won't, but I'd like to see him come in, give it a shot at that. We're a bit not too strong in terms of numbers of fullbacks. So 3 guys, 3 into 4 positions it has to continue on into 2 positions, has to continue on. So yeah, I'm expecting a few, but not major changes.
I think we missed
Just
Porro.
on the fullback front, I see there's a rumor about Dennis Sirkin coming back in January.
January, yeah. There was rumors about that in the summer as well.
Yeah, he's in his last year of contract, so they probably don't want to lose him out too much.
Yeah, we didn't even mention, speaking of rotating, Palhinha actually played centre back in the Doncaster game.
Yes.
There's a rotation right there. It's a rotation, but of position, not of actual player. So
And he played well.
He did play well,
And can I say something about the Doncaster game? Our crossing in the Doncaster game was the best I've seen for ages. We got some really good crosses in from the right and some good crosses in from the left. We seemed to really sort of attack with speed and get crosses in to runners coming in. Stuart, you're pulling a face.
I'm not. I'm just stifling a yawn here, and it's not down to you guys. It's been a long old day for me, I have to be honest. So it's nothing to do with what you're saying.
If only you were young and fit like me, Stu.
Age is catching up with me.
Oz, I think the quality of our crosses is directly related to the amount of time we have to make the crosses. And in the Premier League, you have less time than you do against the League One.
No, that's a fair point.
So I think but it tells you the ability is there. It's just getting the training right and doing it more organically. And I think that will come. In terms of the changes, I think he'll go strong. I think you'll have Porro back, and I'll be happy to have Porro back. I think when we have such limited passes in the team and we take Porro out of it, that hurts us massively because he's one of the better passers at the back. When you have Romero and Porro at the back, then you have ability to spray the ball a bit better, to move the ball faster, and we didn't see that. So I think it told. If I'm honest, I think Spence is better on the left. And we might be looking for a right back instead of a left back, because Spence and Udogie look pretty awesome, pretty much similar quality, if slightly different in that Spence has to cut in, whereas Udogie is obviously much more natural on his left and he gets to the byline. But I think we really miss Porro's ability on the ball, and that hurt us in this last game. So
I think if you're playing Xavi, then I think Udogie's probably the player to go for, because Xavi wants to cut inside, leaving the space for Udogie to charge down that left flank. So for me, that would be my partnership. But Spence certainly has had his better games this season and last season on that left-hand side.
Yeah, I think that's where your options come in, right? If you're playing Xavi on the left, then you play Udogie. But if he pops into the middle, that's when you rotate him and you play Spence. I think also Spence is much better one-on-one with anybody, so that gives him that extra cover. It was noticeable that Bentancur was often on the left of the midfield to help Xavi's weaknesses, mitigate his weaknesses off the ball. But coming back to Buddha, I really don't know. I think he'll go quite strong, because I think you want to take the pressure off you and get ahead in that league, and then take it from them. He might play Vicario again, and then play Kinsky in the league.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see us play our strongest possible side for Bodo, and also for the Copenhagen game, just to make sure that we've got as many points on the board as possible before we face PSG, because PSG is definitely our toughest game of the entire calendar year. So that would be something to look at.
I agree.
Just get a draw against them.
We did. Hopefully more of the same.
But they were.
I'm still hoping to get something.
And in fairness, we outplayed them.
Yes, we did.
We did, and they were very complimentary about us. But they had only had two or 3 days of training before that game, so they will have a little bit more this time. But also they're going to be missing Dembele and Desiree Doué. So,
well, that's a bit of a misrepresentation, because they only had, but they were playing in that Club World Cup, so they were training, and then they maybe had a week off. And these guys are playing all the time anyway, so they were training just a few weeks before, at a high level. They were playing high level, So bit of a misnomer there, misrepresentation. Anyway, we did do well against them.
Yeah. Last thing before we close this out, I know Ash is a big fan of Luca Williams-Barnett. He was talking about him in the forum. I was really happy to see him come on. I've been following this kid for the last year and a half or so.
Same here.
And he came on, and not immediately, but within 5 minutes of him getting on the pitch, he did a very Luca Williams-Barnett thing where he shifted the ball, got the defender off balance and played the ball through. He's like, yeah, that's what he does. That was typically him. It was so good to see it, because I think this kid's got a huge future ahead of him. And I believe he signs his contract in a few days' time. He's already agreed to a professional contract, but he can't sign it until he turns 17, which I think may be the 30th. So bring that on. I think he is going to make he's going to be in the first team regularly by the end of this season. I think he'll probably make 3, maybe 4 appearances. And those will all be off the subs bench, of course, but such a promising young talent. What do you think, eh?
I was so chuffed for him, and he didn't look out of place. I saw his interview afterwards, and he was a bit overwhelmed. It's either that or he's a little bit thick. But
He's incredibly shy.
yeah, but even if he was, those sort of guys sometimes they're not overawed by anything. All they do is live for football, and he just got on the ball immediately. They were asking him, what was it like? What were you feeling? And he was like, I was not feeling anything. I was just wanting to play. And the exuberance of youth, and that was awesome. I thought he looked really, really comfortable out there with our Premier League players. But again, it was against the League One side. I would say he looks too good for League One. That if you had to measure his development, he would start in the Championship. I would say he looks very, very good, very promising. Wonderful first touch. Yeah. Oh, that first comment about first touch, just how good is Kuda's first touch? That ball just
yeah.
That ball just dies at his feet immediately. And that was I think best first touch since Berber in our team for sure.
Just coming back to Luca
excellent.
Williams-Barnett, his first touch is very good, but his vision is fabulous. He sees things. Yeah. And I just think that is so important for a footballer nowadays.
Can we compare him to any player that you might have seen? Because he's got a little bit more speed than somebody like Hoddle or something like that. So who was a great passer and a skillful guy, but how would you just describe him?
There are hints of Gaza about him.
Okay.
Hasn't got the physicality of Gaza, but he's 16 years old, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
As for Hoddle, no one can say anything negative about Hoddle in my book, because Hoddle is my second favourite ever Spurs player after Jimmy Greaves. I just think the man was the complete footballer, and he was underappreciated. But Luca Williams-Barnett, it excites me. His decision-making isn't always very good.
Yeah, that is a drawback.
He's got vision, he's got physical skills, he's got pace, he scores goals. I mean, he scored a brilliant goal the other day from just inside the halfway line, when he drove forward and saw the goalkeeper off his line, and he chipped him from, 40 yards.
He reminds me of Darren Anderton.
Okay.
Peak Darren Anderton.
Well, that's not a bad person to be reminded of, because he's a great player as well.
Peak Darren Anderton was very good.
Peak Darren, he reminds me of peak Darren Anderton. Maybe it's a bit in physical appearance, but even on the ball, if I had to choose one person, it would be that. But I don't like to compare these guys to anybody. They must make their own way. But yeah, if we're looking for something like that, I would say Darren Anderton. And people give him the sick note tab, but when he was on it before the injuries, he was a phenomenal player. So I think it's quite a tribute to him to be compared to Jaron Anderton.
He
I've
was
seen-
a fabulous player, eh?
I've seen comparisons to Hoddle, and I've also seen comparisons to Ginola, and I think Ginola is probably closer. He's got that ability to kind of slow the ball down, slow the game down around him, and then pick out a pass that other people really don't see. But you know, if you're talking about goals, I think his last goal against Sevilla was the special one, where he just put everybody completely off balance and just rolled the ball
Under his
forward
foot.
before tapping it in. It was fantastic. It was such a subtle thing to do, but it just fooled everybody. And frankly, it was almost cheeky, and I loved it.
Yeah,
So-
you know what filled me with enthusiasm about this guy. It's like when you come into this environment and you're playing in a higher league, everything seems to move so quickly. And he did say, yes, it's a lot faster, but he still looked like he had a lot of time and he was able to slow things down and he adapted to the pace of the game immediately.
He's intuitive, eh?
Yeah, it was wonderful.
He's got that
and
football brain that just does things. He doesn't think about it. He does it because he sees it, and it's there.
That filled me with a lot of hope for him,
Yeah.
because being at ground level, and you don't see the field like we do from up above. It is frighteningly fast, and you almost don't have time to think, and everything's a rush, and you don't see things. He sees it. He sees the picture in front of him. It may have been faster, but not fast enough to knock him off his stride. And that's a big tell for me. That's a big tell if somebody has it. Yeah.
What position do you see him as? Can you see him as a number 10? Because maybe he's got more to offer than Xavi does, actually.
Oh, that's a very high bar that you're setting there. I think he could be a number 10. He could also play off the left. He's got the ability to do both. For me, I'd love to see him as a number 10, but number 10 is a very specialized position. So it's difficult. You've got to have the right manager who wants to give him that freedom and that kind of
He
role.
could do 8 as well. He could probably do 6, to be quite honest.
No, I don't think he's got that defensive awareness in him to play 6. But I did find it quite funny. There was a video floating around of I think it was Lucas Moura doing one of those driving in a car things and with a young footballer, a young kid from the academy. The young kid from the academy was Luca Williams-Barnett. I was like, wow, that's how long he's been with us. But I mean, he's very much like me, elegant player from Luton. Just 30 years and tons of talent difference between us. So.
Yeah, guys, what I would say is, like, you look at this game at Wolves and you see how devoid of creativity we were in that last phase of play, and you think he couldn't do any worse than what we had out there, and yet he might come in as an unknown quantity. Nobody wants to get skinned by a 16-year-old, and you never know what could have happened. And it's a game like that where we've tried everything else and nothing is happening. The unknown quality sometimes is fearless play from a youngster. Could have been handy. So I hope Frank is, brave enough when you think we don't have enough options to find some options. And if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Absolutely.
Well, he'd been bossing it earlier in the day against West Bromwich Albion with the under-21, so it might have been too much to call him up for this game as well. All right, gents, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thank you, everybody who's taken the time to listen to us.
Can I just make one
point
Austin, before we go?
Of course you can.
We're a North London club. We've got Paris, we've got LA, we've got North Yorkshire, and we've got Southern Africa. It's ironic that we don't have anyone from North London on the podcast.
We occasionally get someone in, but I think part of the beauty of this is we're all fans from different parts of the world, and we all have our own opinions and feelings on it. It's not one opinion just because we're TV fans. It's it's a nice little melting pot we got here.
And we're all mates.
Exactly.
Yes,
we've known each other a while now, haven't we, lads? So. All right, thank you everybody for joining us. We will be back after the Leeds game, and we'll be talking to you then. Until then, thank you everyone, and of course, Come on, you Spurs.
Gather round, lads, it's time for a cheer. We've got opinions to share, raise your pot, never fear. From the stands to the pub, we're ready to spit. In the world of football, it's the CADS chat shit. Oh, he was in form just last week, but now he's a flop, so unique. Spurs gonna win it, that's what we decree. Never mind facts, it's our fantasy. Our strikers are legends, we'll score a whole bunch. Forget all the stats, we'll just take the punch. With every wild take, we raise up our glass, while pundits just chuckle, ignore them alas. The CADS chat shit. To the left and the right, we're taking a hit, so you know it's true. Hear the banter ignite, raise your voice loud, shout it out tonight. The CADS chat shit, we'll sing it again with a smile and a grin. Oh, here's to the boys, let's make it a trend. With a wink and a nudge, let the fun never end. Last week we claimed it'll be 5-0 for sure. Now we're debating if we'll score at the door. Did you see that last miss? What a fiery debate as we pull up our chairs and we narrow our fates. Hot takes flying high, we're the kings of the pub, while the lads on the pitch just need a good rub. From the top of the table or right back to the ground, you'll hear us all chatting that familiar sound. The CADS chat shit. To the left and the right, we're taking a hit, so you know it's true. Hear the banter ignite, raise your voice loud, shout it out tonight. The CADS chat shit, we'll sing it again with a smile and a grin. Oh, here's to the boys, let's make it a trend. With a wink and a nudge, let the fun never end.